Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Star Labs Confidential. For today, I have two of my friends, Frank Sweeney and Jeremy Logan here.
Hello.
What up?
For today's segment, we're going to be going over the recent Joker movie and other Bat-related media coming out soon. So what did you guys think about the movie?
Frank?
I thought it was awesome. I loved Hoquin's Phoenix. Is it Hoquin?
Joaquin.
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 What were you calling him?
It is Joaquin.
Joaquin. But I guess it's whatever you want it to be. No, his performance was absolutely outstanding. Very cool. I loved the direction they took with that movie. I loved how trippy and dark and just overall a great origin story, and the ending was just it was really badass, and it was also I don't know, it was wow. You wonder if if any of that stuff actually happened. Basically, it honestly at the very end they cut away to him in an insane asylum, and you wonder if he was just thinking about all of that, or if that was just a flash forward after what he had done. Basically, because the thing is that a lot of shit that had gone down in that film were things that really didn't happen. Like when we saw that his neighbor, the black girl with the daughter. I saw it in the theaters with Jeremy, and I was and I was like, oh, I turned to him and I was like, oh my god, yo, she's gonna, I think she's gonna be Harley Quinn, because they had a love thing going on. So I thought she was this girl that appeared normal at the surface, but she had a dark side, and she was into the Joker's quirky ways and stuff like that. And I thought they were gonna fall in love, and it was gonna kind of be a Joker Harley kind of deal, basically. But then it turned out that all that stuff that had happened with them, with all the dates they went on, seeing each other and everything, never actually happened. The only interaction they had, the only time he was actually in her apartment was when he walked in there and had no recollection of going in there, and she was all like, you need to leave. Yeah. He had fuck, what's that called?
Withdrawal?
Schizophrenia. Well, I mean, she was a real person, but he was imagining a real person that wasn't actually there at the point in time.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you, Jeremy?
Well, I agree with Frank, certainly, that it was a great film, and I'm speaking from the perspective of somebody who's not as entrenched in the DC universe as you guys are. Yeah. So I evaluated it more as a...
I love how you say that, yet I'm wearing a Marvel shirt right now.
But, I'm not as in tune with the character arc of the Joker as you guys are, so I was able to kind of evaluate it more as a standalone film. And I found a lot of things very interesting philosophically with it, as well as artistically. And I definitely agree with Frank about the ambiguity of it. They left it very open-ended that if this character we were even seeing on screen it becomes a Joker that we all know, or if he's inspiring a movement that leads to the Joker, or if this is just some weird trip that is happening in the same universe as the Batman movies, basically. It's left very open-ended, very open to audience interpretation, and because it's so open to audience interpretation, I think that it leads you to kind of project onto the Joker what you want the storyline to be, basically.
Yeah.
Do you believe at the end of the day that this socially outcasted man was able to lead this revolution of chaos in Gotham, or do you believe it was all in his head? Yeah. Is he the Joker that we know, or is he not?
Yeah.
The one thing that I will say especially, though, is very harrowing representation of mental illness and the disaffective nature of how people can perceive society when they're outcasted, alone, vulnerable. So it definitely struck a chord on that level.
Yeah.
And it also brought along a lot of controversy with the media saying that this is a type of movie that could glorify potential mass shooters and stuff like that because it gives them kind of like a hero to follow, kind of, and that was just a whole bunch of nothing, basically. So there's all this controversy around the film just because they were approaching a subject that is tough to deal with and is tough to look at because it's relatable in the sense that people do feel disconnected from society and other people as a whole. So I found that very interesting about the film. And, later on I'll kind of go into more about what I found interesting philosophically, but that was just kind of the first things that jumped out to me. So
Agreed, yeah, because you really do feel very sympathetic for the guy, for how his
More
life.
or less. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he has his problems, but given his background, so whether like he's adopted or not, or he could be, spoiler alert, Thomas Wayne's illegitimate son.
Talking about you saw the movie.
Because I mean, the papers made a showcase he was adopted, but the rich are powerful and they can be very persuasive to keep certain things a secret.
Yeah.
And plus, it really goes with the Joker story to my recollection because his origins change, and there's a quote from one story where it says, "Sometimes we're one way and sometimes another." But it shows that he suffered something so traumatic that either he can't remember or chooses not to. That's what makes it interesting how they can make an origin movie like this.
Right. So your interpretation was that this was an origin story. Like, this character does become the Joker of the DC universe, like, unquestionably.
Well, more so, not so much. More so like the mythology of the Joker for, like, the presence, really. I feel like, as you said, this is a guy that could be an influencer for all kinds of Jokers that Batman would have to face. In fact, I think recent comics, when Batman was trying to figure out who he is, the answer he got was that there are 3. So somehow 3 people managed to look alike, sound alike, and everything, or however, I'm not sure where they're going with that in the comics, but I haven't kept much up to date with that yet.
Yeah. Well, question I would have for you right off the bat is, do you think this character, kind of in the form that he was in the movie, would be any kind of would present any type of adversarial conflict to Batman, basically? Would he be any type of challenge to Batman at all? Like, he was a very broken down and maybe seemingly physically weak as well as very mentally gone, whereas the Joker that we know in The Dark Knight is kind of more of a criminal mastermind.
He's like invincible.
He's he's clearly insane, but he's also very calculated. He's psychotic, but he has a head on his shoulders. While this was presented as a very kind of vulnerable character, basically. So do you believe that this character is the Joker or not?
No, I do not. I do not think so because, as you said, because normally Joker is very brilliant calculating in terms of how he does his plans, not just random. There's some kind of a plan to make it work.
You see, I believe that is up for interpretation, basically. One thing you got to remember is that, this is the Joker just starting out. This is the beginning of his legacy in the destruction of Gotham and just making it all laugh, basically. Like, he started off, you start off as something, and then after a while, when you build your legacy, you get better at your game, basically. So, I think it's really, but like, I agree in both scenarios. I think it could be interpreted as a guy who, a regular guy like you and me, that just like, got shit on left and right, and eventually you just had it and just made a joke about it, you know, and that well, no, you did fucked up shit, and then and then you just laughed about it because that was really what it was. Like when he told that what was the name of De Niro's character on that show?
Maury.
Yeah.
Maury Franklin, I think.
Something like that. Yeah,
something like that.
He told a joke that wasn't even funny, and he's like, "Oh, but I haven't even gotten to the punchline yet." Well, that was a great scene, by the way.
What he did there, and you know, I wanted to touch on this a little bit later about kind of my like biggest takeaway from the film philosophically. But what he did there is he kind of showed how what's funny, what's not funny, is very subjective and is based on kind of societal norms,
right?
Kind of norms that are usually institutionally ingrained within us. And, you know, we kind of go with, basically. So people found that joke offensive because the TV host said it was offensive. Like, he's setting the cultural norms right there. And then the Joker says, like, forget about your norms. Like, what's funny and what's not funny is subjective.
Yeah.
And you could say the same about good and evil. It could also be seen as subjective because there's no question in this movie that his actions are bad. They're bad actions, but if you look at the people that were killed by him in the movie, they were some pretty despicable people on their own.
They were.
The you know, the finance bros that he executed on the subway were harassing a woman, and then they you know, they beat him up. He killed the first two in arguably self-defense, and then it wasn't until the third kill that he kind of took more of a pleasure in what he was doing because he realized the power that he had over another person that, you know, he's never experienced that in his entire life. So there definitely is kind of a theme of how society sets these very subjective norms of what's funny, what's not, what's good, what's evil, and the Joker kind of turns that all on his head.
Yeah, that's usually his kind of thing nowadays in media, where it's like, as quote from the Dark Knight, it's like the only sensible way to live is without rules.
Yeah.
And that leads to a theory that perhaps maybe he's not really insane. I mean, granted, this movie version, he's definitely insane, but as far as for regular Joker, he may not be actually insane. It's just more of an act, so this way he would have to be sent to loony bin. Or another theory is that he could be super sane, kind of like Deadpool in terms of breaking the fourth wall a little bit, like that he knows that it's all fictional, that it doesn't matter.
That would be cool if they made a Joker, a Deadpool style Joker film.
Yeah, that would
they
be...
They did that with Spider-Man in the Drake Bell cartoon with Drake Bell. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah, I seen it.
It had its Deadpool style theme basically right there.
Definitely.
Yeah. But that's a side note.
But as far as Joker, like especially for this film, it does feel like that everything is meaningless, like how it's all just a big joke, which is why he said that he views his life as a comedy, not a tragedy.
Right, and I think that kind of touches upon like just the nihilism of the movie, which is I think a major theme, is just how he's just about chaos at the end of the day.
He's
like,
an agent of chaos.
He's whatever is against the order.
An agent of chaos.
It's really not about establishing a new order. It's about just whatever the order is, just superseding it with chaos. And like he definitely that scene at the end where he's on top of the car and you know, he's surrounded by all his followers, and you realize that he is this agent of chaos, and he's a symbol to all these people that have finally had enough of the order of society and had enough being subordinate to that order. So
that was really cool at the end. What they did with having everyone step up in clown masks and everything, and like what was really cool about that was just like the fact that he was a social outcast, and it's almost like on that television show, he woke up every social outcast that have been in his shoes, and he motivated them to come out and just cause destruction and everything. Like at the end, like in the Burton verse for Batman, it was the Joker who actually killed Bruce Wayne's parents, but that wasn't Joaquin Hoquin's Joaquin Phoenix's character. It was some other guy that must have been like thrown in the mud as well by the Waynes, rich and powerful ways, and it was so the Joker didn't directly kill Bruce Wayne's parents, but because of his interview on TV and stuff like that, he inspired someone in his shoes to do just that. So that was a pretty cool way about it, basically.
That is true. The person that executed the Bruce Wayne's parents could have very well been the actual Joker, for all we know.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's like Joaquin was,
the inspiration.
He was the inspiration for the actual Joker. Yeah.
Yeah, and that I'm glad you're bringing up Thomas Wayne, because my biggest takeaway from the film was kind of the search for a father figure in society. I mean, look at his mom. His mom was just holding out this deluded hope that Thomas Wayne was going to step in and fix her life and help them out. And she kind of looked up to Thomas Wayne as this like father figure for him. And,
Arthur.
Yeah.
I just remembered his name, by the way.
Yeah.
What was his name? Arthur.
Arthur Fleck, I think.
Fleck.
Arthur Fleck. Yeah. And even Maury, Robert De Niro's character, the television host, he fantasizes about making an appearance on that show in the audience, and then he gets called up to the front, and Maury tells him, like, I wish I had a son like you, basically.
Yeah.
So everybody's seeing these father figures in society, or they're trying to envision these father figures, whether it's Thomas Wayne, the billionaire philanthropist, or Maury, the charismatic television host that kind of sets the cultural norms of Gotham. And at the end of the movie, they're rejecting them. They're realizing that these people are not who they, even though they're perceived at the top of the pecking order of society, they're not who they seem to be. They're not these benevolent people. They have their flaws. Like Maury, the television host, can be kind of cruel in how he uses other people's misery as a punchline for his show.
Yep.
And Thomas Wayne can be perceived as kind of greedy and egotistical. So
I was just gonna say, you gotta wonder though, did he actually kill Maury though? Like obviously on screen it appears that he did, but it appeared that he actually called him out in front of the audiences as well. From the beginning. But it turned out that he was really just just staring at the TV, fantasizing about all of that. He never actually went there.
I mean, that's very up in the air. I think that he did.
Yeah.
I think that scene actually happened, and that was the standout scene in the movie, I believe.
That was without a question my favorite scene. Either that or when he went over to Wayne Manor.
Yeah.
And then just started feeling up. He put his fingers in little Bruce Wayne's mouth.
Right.
And then I literally, I don't know if you remember this, I literally turned to you, I'm like, that's fucking creepy. That is fucking creepy.
Yeah. that was really
That was a good, so those are like two of my favorite scenes. Either when Joker, or Arthur as it is, went over to Wayne Manor, put his fingers in little Bruce's mouth, little Batman's mouth, or when he went to, or when he was on the show, and then just out of nowhere whipped out his gun and shot De Niro at point blank range.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Yeah.
It's funny, like it was surprising. I think all three of us can honestly say we jumped at that scene, right?
Yeah, because I was expecting like more of a suicide kind of thing, but he'd be looked as a martyr.
You said the same thing, right?
Well, what I said, and this kind of goes off my previous point, but that he was initially planning to kill himself, like he was practicing shooting himself in the head in his apartment, and ultimately, though, he ends up killing the TV host, the person that he looks up to, the father that he never had, the person that is so influential and is like the envy of Gotham, basically, and he ends up executing him. And to me, what that shows is that when he was originally planning the suicide, he was just like, I'm just never gonna fit into this society. I'm just gonna be a victim of it, basically. And at the end of the movie, instead, he shoots a host. So instead of becoming a victim of the social order, he's subverting it and overturning it.
Yeah, it's a weird way of an opposite to Batman. How they made the Joker, where both are victims of all kinds of dangers. Like they both had a bad day.
Batman and Joker.
Yeah, because like with Bruce losing his parents, and in this case, like for Joker, pretty much having a horrible life and everything just going worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, but you gotta keep going what you're gonna say. But I was just gonna say that you gotta remember, Batman lived in a mansion. He still had Alfred as a father figure, and he did not really wake up to all of the terrible like shit going on like right in front of him in that terrible area like the Joker did, or Arthur.
True, Arthur did have worse, but the point was that all the hardships that for Batman has gone through, he never let it like get to him much in terms of like just being an agent of chaos himself, or being judge, jury, and executioner for fighting crime. Whereas for Joker, he just let go, like doesn't really care.
He had enough.
Yeah,
he had enough. He just made it all like a joke bait, basically.
He realized that, Gotham was just a mirage. Like, look at how they were talking about those three finance guys, like, on the news. They're like, who could kill these wonderful, outstanding people? Like, it must be some kind of clown or something like that.
Which is funny, because it was a clown, an upcoming clown. But, yeah.
So, it just goes to show what a mirage Gotham is. It's just like, there's just awful people everywhere, and it's just kind of, there's just all these figures of Thomas Wayne and Maury and those finance guys that work for Wayne Enterprises that are just upholded as these like arbiters of decency and morality and kind of setting the standards for the society, and then at the end of the day it's all fake.
Yeah.
And the people revolting kind of symbolize that. They're like the Joker. They've had it.
Yeah.
And when he's on the car at the end of the movie and he's dancing in front of the crowd, you see him like make this distinctive smile on his face. And if you recall earlier in the movie, when he kills his mom, he says that he's never really had a happy moment his entire life. And I think that symbolized the first actual happy moment he's had.
Yeah.
Kind of leading this revolution.
Or an illusion of happiness, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's getting some form of, it's not real happiness, but it's like a feeling of just not taking shit from anyone, basically. He's finally stepping it up. He's getting away from all the of all the shit that's been going on with him, basically. And I get, definitely. Back to what you were saying, Brian, I feel like, in a sense, like when it all, at the end of the day, Batman and Joker, though they will never, like, see eye to eye or be on each other's side, at the end of the day, in both their minds, they are both heroes to Gotham, basically. they both have an ambition to change Gotham. Batman, after years of living with the grief of his parents, and then everything that had been going on in Gotham, all the corruption, all the gangs, and everything, he stepped it up and realized someone needed to make a difference, and so he became the Batman, the Bat Vigilante. While Joker, on the other hand, he's not really on the corruption side either, basically. And it depends on which Joker we're talking about. I mean, in The Dark Knight, with Heath Ledger's Joker, they kind of made it seem like he just wants to see the world burn, like it's one big joke. Mm-hmm. But I honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this, but with the Joker film, with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, it was almost like he was a bit of a little bit of an upcoming Ra's al Ghul type of character, basically, where he put everything aside. He just kind of let himself go, basically. He let the sane version of himself go, and realized that all this stuff, all these lies and everything, all this corruption, these cobwebs that are in Gotham and stuff like that. Gotham needs to be burnt to the ground. It needs to be burnt down, and then we rebuild a new one from the ashes, basically. So, I don't know if Ledger's Joker really had the ambition to recreate Gotham. I think he just enjoyed creating chaos and proving that that deep down everyone was like him. But I feel like Joaquin's Joker had more of a Ra's al Ghul motivation right there, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I can kind of see it, because that's usually the norm. Like, every villain sees himself as the hero of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if... You see, that's the thing. I don't know if Ledger's Joker really cared, honestly. I think he was genuinely just a guy that thought he understood humans. When it all comes down to it, humans are vicious monsters that will that when tested, when really desperate to either live or survive or whatever,
yeah,
they will do whatever they can to they will eventually unleash the monsters that are within them. He believes that every human or every good person has a demon inside of them, and he just gets great joy. So great, to him it's probably better than sex. Just a great thrill of seeing people release their inner demons, because like he has, basically. It was honestly, all that trouble he went through was to really just prove a point and watch the world burn with humanity, and also literally watch explosions and stuff like that he creates.
Yeah, that's why he and Batman are such at odds with each other, because he wants Batman just to break his one rule,
exactly,
to do something. Yeah. And that's why it drives him crazy, wondering what does it take for him to to break this one rule? It makes it seem like it's so easy, but it's really not.
Yeah. It's a shame that they that Ledger died, because what we saw in Dark Knight Rises was a revised script. They were originally going to bring the Joker back, and then eventually, the Joker sort of won in a sense, because in the original script, from what I understand, in the Dark Knight Rises, Batman would realize that the only way to defeat the Joker is for the Joker to win, and the Joker would only win if Batman killed him. That's how it was eventually. I believe that's how it was originally going to happen.
Yeah.
But even at the end of Dark Knight, that was just so great right there,
yeah,
because he wants Batman to lose it, because Batman's he's the Dark Knight, but he was he and Harvey were were kind of like the White Knights. Like he was a literal Dark Knight, but they were still like good individual people that, really, brought like order and turned Gotham around and stuff like that. And
Yeah, I mean, there were like two sides of the same coin.
exactly. But like what was crazy was that what I loved about the ending of The Dark Knight, and I still tear up sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. When Gary Oldman's character, Jim Gordon, was explaining what kind of hero he is and everything. Like I just loved what he did right there, how he gave up everything basically. He gave up his Batman was determined to not have the Joker win basically. So what did he do? He saved his life at the end. It was a little, Nolan kind of gave a little twist on Burton's Batman film, because I believe at the end of the Jack Nicholson Joker film, he actually did fall off the skyscraper and he died. Whereas they gave a little nod to that, where Batman actually saved his life so that because he has that rule to kill anyone. So like the Joker, when he fell off that skyscraper, he was like laughing like a madman, and he was just waiting to die, because he knew at the end of the day, the moment he hit that pavement, he won. He fucking won. Yeah. Because he did exactly what he wanted to do. He knew he won in the sense that he was right about Batman. He was right about everyone. All right? Batman throughout the film was incorruptible, but while he was falling off the skyscraper, he was all like, all right, finally, this guy is corruptible. He can actually, when it comes down to a crazy maniac like me, he will actually give in and kill. All right, but then Batman saves him, and then he remembered his ace in the hole plan, which was how he created Two-Face, basically. And it's just amazing how all that really played out basically at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I mean he lost in a different front too, because of the two boats that were rigged to explode, and the good of humanity prevailed in those situations.
Exactly.
They refused to blow up the other ship. And
but he was relieved though. He was relieved when he was falling off the skyscraper though, because those guys didn't give in, but this fucker gave in.
Yeah, and it's part of his whole modus operandi of just tearing down these cultural institutions. People see Batman as a hero that's incorruptible and will always make the right moral choice, especially when it comes to his own internal morality of not killing. And if you sully his reputation, then you just prove to everybody in Gotham that your hero is dead, basically.
Yeah.
Your perception of your hero is just done. It's over.
Which is exactly what he did, not with Batman, but with Harvey Dent.
He did, and that kind of shows how strong Batman is as a character.
Well, Alfred also helped him out there. Remember that letter he burnt that Rachel had sent him?
Yeah, if he read that while dealing with the Joker, that would not turn out well.
Yeah, we don't really know what would have happened, but still though, Alfred burning that letter, you got to wonder, what the alternate universe would be in what would that be, Gotham 2, like the as opposed to Earth 2 from The Flash.
Yeah.
in that alternate universe, because Earth 2 from Earth 10,000, those are, I interpreted that stuff as the different scenarios of what would happen if people made one little difference, basically. And then that would just change the course of the reality that they were currently in. Yeah. If that makes any sense whatsoever. But
yeah, that's.
But you got to wonder what how different the course would have ran if Alfred didn't burn Rachel's letter saying that she chose Harvey over him, basically.
I want to get back to the Joker, though, from
Of
The Dark
course.
Knight, because we've kind of definitely established that there might be a connection, there might be an origin story here,
Yeah.
but ultimately we're dealing with a movie about a mentally troubled loner versus one about a criminal mastermind.
Yeah.
So there
Psychopath.
definitely is a bridge between those two worlds that we're kind of piecing together, but
Yeah.
we haven't seen that bridge on screen. So kind of going back to the origin here, I think at least the Joker started off, he said he wanted to make people laugh. Like he did. He was, studying all those stand-up comedy shows, writing notes, writing jokes. Like he really wanted to make people laugh and feel that connection. So even as mentally troubled as he was, he really didn't start off as this completely distinctively evil character, I would say. And you saw that too with kind of how he sympathized with other people that were treated the way that he was.
Yeah.
Like when his two coworkers came over to his apartment at the end of the movie, near the end of the movie, before he made that
I
infamous
forgot about that
appearance.
scene. Yeah.
He killed one of them. His coworker Randall, who
He was the guy that framed him with
basically
like, the gun
set
and
him up.
everything. Yeah.
He gave him a gun, and then he threw him under the bus when it was discovered that he was carrying a gun around with him on his gigs to children's hospitals, and he kills him brutally. Like he really killed the shit out of that guy.
Yeah, he did.
And but he spares the midget because he feels some kind of emotional. He sees the midget as another downtrodden person, basically, and he knows that he was made fun of at his job for kind of being an outcast, for being a loner, where the midget was made fun of. He's the subject of many short jokes, and he kind of commiserated with him because of that. And there's that really intense scene where he couldn't reach the door lock, and you're like, he's gonna fucking kill him, but he helps him, and he's like,
I thought he was gonna kill him.
Me. Yeah.
I honestly thought he was gonna kill him, but then
you really see that there is a human being in this character. There really is. It's a character that wants to relate to people, wants to relate to the world, but just like his mental state just completely disallows him from reaching that that level of human connection that
which
he really
is
sees.
very, very different from Ledger's Joker. I would say Ledger doesn't give a shit about anyone. Like he would have just killed anyone like it's nobody's business and just make a joke out of it.
Yeah, Ledger's just more a hardened criminal.
Yeah.
Whereas Joaquin's version, like this is him starting out where he doesn't have any big grand plans to purify like the soul of Gotham or anything. It's just
At the end, I would say that was kind of his ambition, though.
yeah,
Like right after he shot De Niro.
Yeah, I think he definitely. I don't think he was as calculated with that move. He did it. He took out De Niro. He removed this cultural icon, basically, proving to bring together more chaos and more anarchy than we had seen previously in the movie. But it wasn't very calculated. He was almost like an accidental icon to the people that were protesting outside with all the, with the clown masks on. He was kind of like an accidental, figure to them, basically.
Yeah.
Because he kind of summed up their rage and their discontent.
Yeah, it became
But he wasn't definitely I'm leading this movement. It was just kind of more, it was more accidental, but at the same time, it felt right for him. And you saw his reaction when he was, surrounded by hordes of his, new followers, and they were watching him dance on top of the car and cheering him on. And he wipes a smile on his face, and that's why I believe that was the first real happy moment he had, because he had this disorder where he's laughing uncontrollably. And
I like how they added that part. to give a reason like what's with the laughing, like where it's a kind of a medical condition. Even when he was getting beaten the crap out of, he would still be laughing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you saw it in his
But that-
eyes. He was
now-
trying
now
so
that-
hard not to laugh.
Now that is the Joker, though. The Joker is the kind of guy that loves it when people, kick the shit out of him or beat the shit out of him, because I don't know why. He just remember what that prison guard said. He's all in the Dark Knight with Ledger. He's all like I'm a 20-year guy, and I know the difference between punks who need to learn a few manners, and then the psychos like you who just enjoy it. I always felt like it was because he gets a thrill out of getting the shit beat out of him, because it means that it proves his point that deep down everyone's like him, basically.
Yeah. And
But
plus, I don't think he would care if he really dies or not, because he feels like he makes an impact. As we see in the Joker film, if he would die, there's thousands that would take his place, as we've seen with all the crowds of clowns. In fact, I remember back in the days of Batman Beyond, there's like gangs of Jokers, and that's Jokers with the Z that like
Batman Beyond was the Joker in that movie, Batman Beyond?
Well, they made a movie called Return of the Joker.
Wasn't that Mr. Freeze in Batman Beyond?
I never saw that movie. I don't know.
Arnold as Mr. Freeze.
Oh no, you're thinking of
Schwarzenegger?
You're thinking of Batman and Robin. No, I mean like the TV show Batman Beyond.
Oh, okay.
I meant the TV show Batman Beyond.
Oh, so the Joker was in quite a few episodes.
No, not the Joker. I meant like there's Joker gangs.
Oh, okay.
Basically, because
and they're not led by the Joker.
No, they're just there's many gangs. They're led by themselves pretty much, as far as I can tell.
Mm.
But then they did make a movie called Return of the Joker, where he does lead at least one gang. To do
Gang.
to do what he says.
It's gang bang.
But that shows that even like 40 years after the Joker kind of died, his legacy still continued.
Yeah. Another thing I kind of found interesting too is a lot of people came into the movie thinking it was like political, and the Joker himself makes a point to say, "I'm not political," and that's true. It's not really a left or a right wing thing. At the end of the day,
No.
It's just kind of a consolidation of all the apathy, anger, and misery that you can find within yourself when you realize that you're just not fit for society, basically.
Yeah.
So it's just you almost can't help but project a little bit of yourself onto the character, even though you try not to, because obviously he's a criminal and he's a killer. But I think some of the things that he encountered in the movie within himself and just going throughout day to day were like very human and very like relatable almost. And you don't have to be some insane clown to kind of feel that.
Yeah, because I never got the sense of a political sense of like, what side they're on, really.
I think everybody hates elites at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
whether you're left or right wing or wherever you lie, it doesn't matter. I think people are just tired of just elitism, just having standards imposed on us by people just because of their level of wealth or their popularity in TV shows or the media, celebrity status. Like, people are just tired of that. So that kind of encapsulated that nihilism to me, and that rejection of these societal norms, basically.
Yeah, and the fact that this movie takes place in the 80s.
I didn't know that. I didn't really know it had a time. I couldn't feel a time period.
Honestly, I didn't know that either.
You could have said it happened. It was supposed to happen this year or in 1970.
It could have taken place in 2019, and I'd believe it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does have that timeless feel. I mean, because of like the TVs they have and everything. Like you don't see like a lot of cell phones or iPads or anything. It's definitely 80s because.
Yeah, now they didn't really show an iPhone, but like, I mean, that would have been irrelevant anyway. Like, I mean, it's not like the thing is though is that it just felt so timeless. You didn't really need any specific technology to to really know what time period
Yeah,
it was
they did a great job with the mysteriousness of it.
They did.
It is any time, any place in a world that feels too, in a very kind of frightening sense, a lot like our own. So
Yeah, I just remember, I think, a special look where they said that they were utilizing certain pieces of history in terms of one or two crime waves that may have happened in New York City around that time period, sort of to help make their world as they were building the movie. Plus, a lot of people noted that there is a lot of a few similarities between Martin Scorsese's films, like Taxi Driver and.
Oh yeah, I've definitely.
Oh my God, very much so.
Yeah, Taxi Driver is very similar.
You saw Taxi Driver.
I know like the premise of Taxi Driver,
right.
And thematically it's very similar.
You should check it out. It's on Netflix. I think you'd like it. But no, I've seen Taxi Driver, and I can concur. It is very similar to that movie. In fact, I remember. I don't know if you knew about this, but there was talk about having Scorsese direct a Joker film, which I was disappointed about that that Scorsese didn't direct that. I was even more disappointed that he didn't have Leo do it. Like I don't really care who he would have had do it.
Leo could pull it off. He could because he could pull off anything.
He can.
I can see that.
But like they did like this was like obviously a fan theory because it never happened. But there was something online saying that it was fake news. We have confirmed Scorsese is directing Joker film. All right, Joker actor of the Joker will come soon, and then everyone was saying it was Leo. Everyone was like praising that idea, and I'm like, I second that. He could kill it. But then there was talk that Willem Dafoe would play the Joker, which he could.
He's better as a supporting character.
You know who Willem Dafoe is,
of course.
Right? Yeah, the Green Goblin,
Platoon.
Oh yeah.
He's much better as a supporting character.
But yeah. Anyway, I mean, none of that happened. But like, I could see De Niro making a pretty damn good Joker film with a classic Scorsese style film, basically. Like, Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street, Casino, all those films right there. But with but in the Batverse with in Gotham,
Batverse.
But like,
Batverse.
But like a story of gangsters, but like it would center around the Joker basically, like it's centered around Jordan Belfort or Henry Hill or whatever other characters he played. I was disappointed when it turned out Scorsese wasn't directing that. Maybe he'd make it a little more original, or maybe he'd make it his classic Scorsese film of a Greek tragedy, like just like timeline after timeline of this anti-hero that we're watching for like 3 to 4 fucking hours, and then just watch his downfall basically. And he would be that ambitious criminal main character, maybe with a short temper, but his pride would be his downfall.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Though I feel like the director, Todd Phillips, I think his name is.
That was his name?
Todd Phillips, yep.
Yeah, I would say definitely utilize some Scorsese's earlier films as influence to help make this movie.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Did Scorsese produce it at all? Did he have any part in that movie whatsoever?
I'm not entirely sure. I do believe that they were that Warner Bros. Were trying to get him involved.
They were. That was where the rumor probably came from. And then fans were all like, "Oh my God, that'd be a great idea." So they fantasized the idea of having him direct it, having his newly longtime collaborator, fucking Leo DiCaprio play him. It would have been pretty interesting if they had the exact same premise of what just went down, and he even got De Niro to come back, and then that would be the first De Niro DiCaprio film together in a Scorsese film, and then Leo fucking shoots him, like, bitch, I'm Scorsese's collaborator now.
That would be funny.
Because you know how De Niro used to be like Scorsese's like signature actor from like Mean Streets all the way to Casino. I believe the last film he did with De Niro was Casino.
Oh, okay.
And, well, actually it's Irishman, but, like, that's coming out this year, so.
Gotcha.
So they've done nearly, like, 2 decades with no collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question for you guys. Brian, you might have some good insight on this. Why do you think there was such a discrepancy in how critics graded the film versus audiences? Because if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, it has like an audience score of like 95%.
I have an answer for that as well.
The critics have rated it like 60%, and there's kind of like a people's driven movement to get Joaquin Phoenix nominated for an Oscar, which I think he definitely deserves.
He does.
At least a nomination, if not more than that. But the critics kind of like panned this film, and they, it might have something to do with the fact that a lot of critics these days think they have to be like moral arbiters, basically. They have to be the people that say, no, this film goes too far. It like paints too dark of a picture. Like it could inspire some real life acts of violence. But like they've kind of lost their sense to actually sit down and just objectively like view a film. And that's kind of a shame, and you're kind of seeing that discrepancy with how this film was perceived by critics versus how it was perceived by just regular people going to see it.
When it all comes down to it, dude, critics and just general audiences have a very different idea of what a good movie is. That's why critics, praised The Last Jedi, but the audiences like us shit all over it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I know you liked it, but we didn't like it.
You like The Last Jedi?
I was more in the middle ground, sort of.
You enjoyed it.
I was in like in a fanboy moment, just like yay, a Star Wars film. But then after I got to see it and kind of analyze it, I could see it.
You were kind of like that too, actually.
At first,
Yeah.
and then once I actually had a chance to sit down and analyze it, then I was like, this movie actually is a pile of shit.
Yeah.
So,
Wasn't good.
But
anyway, we digress.
No, but my point there of even bringing that up was that critics watch it in like a professional, they have a very standard idea of what a good movie is. Mm-hmm. All right. I don't think they see it the way general audiences like us will see it.
I just think it's so different because, critics back in the day, the Eberts of the world, could actually sit down and watch a movie that was a little challenging, a little dark, and still say positive things about it. But it seems like nowadays that, critics they're almost afraid to look in this like mirror. And that's when you see movies like The Joker, that's what you're looking in. You're seeing this very bleak picture that's representative of the alienation that a lot of young men, especially nowadays, feel. And they don't want to look at that ugly picture. Instead, they want to say, why would you make something like this? Rather than, even entertain the thought that, this movie is, it resonates with people in ways that are not the most pleasant things to think about, basically.
Well, in general, it comes to like with the audience and critics' responses to comic book movies, no matter if it's part of the shared Marvel universe or DC or a standalone film, there's always going to be differences because, like, for audiences, they get to see like.
What's the deal? The critics don't really like a lot of that stuff anyway. Like the, Marvel DC universe films. They find them like unoriginal or something.
Yeah,
for the Marvel movies, most of them can be very repetitive, but
they are repetitive and like they're really just finding ways to
kind of campy form.
They're looking for ways to get money basically, which is a good business way to go about it. But like those artsy like filmmakers and storytellers are all like, come on, we gotta get some real movies out.
Yeah, and Scorsese actually called them out.
He did call them out. I saw
and
that.
He's right. He does have a point that
He does. He's
Those
not
movies
wrong.
are becoming like the McDonald's of movies. They're just
they're just
putting them out for the sake of putting them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Make money.
Yeah.
He is far from wrong about that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but this is a little different. This is something that has substance. It has depth. It's not just a mindless action movie that's out to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
Like there's something more to it, and I think the challenging questions and often bleak questions that this movie projects are just too much for these moral critics to really sit down and grapple with. They'd rather just kind of like push it away and dismiss it. And I think we're at the stage where like critics, Hollywood, elites are at their most disconnected from regular people. And the response to Joker like exemplifies that.
Agree. I feel like nowadays they want to have a tighter grip on the media in terms of how certain types of audiences, what they see. I think especially since the Aurora shootings back in 2012 with Dark Knight Rises. I heard like in some places they would have like a lot of police officers around movie theater, actually think even inside movie theater to make sure that nothing happens. Because they didn't want history to repeat itself with another gun violence just because of a movie. But at least so far, nothing has happened, at least to my knowledge.
And knock on wood, nothing happens. But it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. They're like, this movie's out, it's going to inspire violence because it's dark and it's challenging and it paints a very bleak picture.
I gotta start reading what the critics say. I just feel like it'd be hilarious. I feel like it'd be a riot.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy because if it actually happens, they're going to be like, see, this movie should have never been made.
Apparently, there have been like Joker situations where like people have actually dressed up like the Joker and caused a lot of shit like that. But supposedly, I heard about. Did you hear about that at all?
From this movie or from?
No. This happened long before the movie came out. Like when probably like 11 years ago when Heath Ledger's Joker just came out or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I've seen people like dress as him.
Apparently, Heath Ledger's Joker drew a lot of ambition, kind of what Joaquin Phoenix's Joker did. But like, I get your point though. Like, there's nothing wrong with making that movie.
Right. I mean, I'm gonna quote one of my favorite overall artists, Rob Zombie, who once said, "Art is not safe. The best art is not safe."
He's the guy responsible for Halloween, right?
2 of the remakes.
Yeah.
He kind of did his own thing with this series, but
He did,
art is not safe. It's just not. It should propose challenging questions to how we think and how we view things, and we should leave the movie theater, a little shaken up. Basically, I think those are the best movies that make me actually think and question things, and that's what I really liked about this film is that it was on my mind for days afterwards. And another question I had was, where do you think this goes from here? Do you think there's sequels? Do you think they do try to bridge Joaquin Phoenix's character to Heath Ledger's? Do you think this is the last one and there's no more? I mean, multiple people associated with this film said that they were open to doing it again. But where can they go, and is it plausible?
Maybe Jared Leto's Joker was the
one. Oh, fuck Jared Leto.
It's funny, you shit on him, but you haven't even seen him.
I'm just not a fan. Okay.
Brian. Anyway, as for your question...
Maybe it was Jared Leto's Joker that killed the Waynes.
Anyway...
I'd be game for that. I liked him.
As far as your question, I'm not entirely sure, because I feel like I'm not sure how a sequel would go for Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. I mean, they could make a sequel. It's not sure where they would go in terms of,
Do they have any announcement for a sequel of that? Or
No.
No, people just said they're open. That's all.
no announcements. But I feel like this could be a good standalone film because I feel like
Yeah.
how open ended it was. It's better for a story to be kind of shot in mystery in terms
Right.
of like what he was seeing, what he was imagining, all this stuff
Right.
that's happened. Like for all we know, he could have been in Arkham all that time, or at least maybe since the shootings of those three business executives.
Right. Absolutely. I think.
Oh,
that,
so you mean he could have gotten caught while he shot them?
Yeah, yeah, but
or after he killed his mom too. Or you know what? I had a theory too. He may have actually killed that black girl in the apartment, like his love interest,
yeah,
He could have.
because you never saw him do it. And I think part of the reason maybe they would leave that open ended is he'd be much less of a sympathetic character if you saw him doing that.
Here's my question, though. I want to ask you guys.
But remember the police sirens go by him after.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't know. Like that could be something, and the fact too they don't show him killing that therapist at the end of the movie, but he's walking around Arkham Asylum and he's got bloody footprints.
yeah.
Like it's implied that he killed her, but you don't see it on screen, and that there could be some juxtaposition with that in the scene that he was in his love interest's apartment, and
He could have been caught with just killing one fucking person, and then he just had all those fantasies about killing everybody else. Like thinking about what else he could have done, like with Robert De Niro's character. And
that's
stuff like
kind of that kind of reminds me a little bit of American Psycho,
Yeah.
where you don't know, like he's an unreliable narrator. You don't
Yeah,
know
he
what
is.
he's actually done or what's in his mind, basically.
Yeah.
Agreed.
No, back to that question though. And this goes to both of you and to anyone who watches this. Am I the only one? Am I the only dude that that saw that girl, his love interest in the film, and I'm like, oh my god, Harley Quinn.
I'm sure you're not the only one. I mean,
Like that's what I thought. Like I thought she was like a she was like a girl that seemed, like I said earlier, seemed normal at the surface, but like I honestly, and there were illusions going on. I think the first illusion was him being brought on to De Niro's character's show.
Yeah.
But like, there were illusions going on, but still, I would never have guessed that like all those dates he went on and all those love scenes he had with his neighbor, that girl. I would never have guessed that was one of those illusions. I thought that was actually a thing going on, and I thought she was a girl just like him who had those like inner demons of like psychoness and rage and everything, or whatever you could describe the Joker to be.
Yeah.
And I thought she was gonna join the cult with him that he did create, and that's what I thought was gonna happen. But then it turned out that nothing they did was real. But originally I could have sworn she was going to be Harley Quinn.
yeah, I mean, we didn't know what direction it was going to go in the
Yeah.
onset. We didn't know, is this going to be a true origin story? Is this going to, like, really bridge out to Heath Ledger's character?
Oh, Heath Ledger didn't have a Carly, not Carly, a Harley.
Right, but we didn't know, like, how true this was going to be to
Yeah.
the comic version of the Joker that we all know. Like, the laughing, maniacal, criminal mastermind.
Right.
Like, what exactly this was going to be, and it was definitely different than expected, and
Yeah.
like...
What about you, Brian? Did you think that was gonna be Harley?
No, because
No. Maybe it's just me then. I don't know.
like for Harley Quinn, her real name was Harley.
Harleen.
Yeah, Harleen Quinzel, but that was not the girl's name.
Did they say her name?
I don't remember, but I know
They
it was,
might not have said it actually.
Yeah, so that's why it wasn't Harleen Quinzel. Plus, she has a definitive origin story where she's a doctor intern at Arkham, meets with the Joker, and he manipulates her to basically be his hench wench. It's a classic case of the pretty girl falling for the bad boy.
Well, no, she didn't fall for him. He like electrocuted her until she was insane.
Oh, well, that's the Suicide Squad version. I'm
Oh, I thought that was accurate to.
maybe more recent comics, but at least for the original version, there was no like electrocution or anything. It was just
Well, she actually fell in love with the Joker before the not execution, the electrocution with in Suicide Squad, but still. Yeah.
yeah, but at least to my knowledge, at least before modernization, there was no electrocution or falling into the same toxic vat of chemicals that bleached his skin.
Her skin, you mean?
Well, his skin too. That's usually...
Oh, well, that was also in fucking Batman, Jack Nicholson's Joker.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, because he pushed her into the vat, but normally Harley would just wear like makeup and stuff and have like the jester costume.
Yeah, actually, in the in the fucking Burton verse with Jack Nicholson's Joker, he it didn't bleach his skin. What happened was it made it didn't even bleach anything. It just made a weird little like it basically gave Nicholson's Joker a Botox, and then he just put white shit over his face.
No, the chemicals that did bleach for the movie that did bleach his skin.
I don't think it did, dude.
No, it did. He put on like the skin color makeup to be in disguise when need to be, but
oh my god, I saw it as the opposite. I thought it just gave him a little Botox, and then because like in the aftermath, he showed up to the mob meeting, and he still looked regularly.
Yeah,
he still looked regularly, but they put that shit but like he had like his lips looked fucking weird, and then in the aftermath, he had bleached skin, and I figured that was just like whitening his. I literally just figured that was just like him like putting that white cream or whatever on his face, war paint, if you will.
Nope. His skin got bleached. His smile got stretched into a permanent grin.
But like, did you know that, or did they actually say that in the movie? Because I don't think they mentioned that in the movie.
No, they mentioned that in the movie when he had to disguise himself, like for the mob meeting and first meeting Vicky. Because when Vicky poured water on his face, you could see that the makeup was dissolving, and it looked like the white skin was showing.
You know, I gotta rewatch Batman.
It's 30 years old today.
Is it really? So it came out in 89?
Yep.
Oh shit. So like 4 years before I was born.
Yeah.
And 2 years for you two.
Yeah, pretty much.
He hates it when I do that.
So how would you guys rank Joaquin's performance as the Joker to others that you've seen?
Well, Brian, I'm going to rate all the Jokers that I've seen from I'm going to get shit on for this, but from alright, so what Jokers have I seen? I've seen a Ledger, a Hamill, I haven't seen Hamill, I've heard Hamill, Nicholson, Leto, and that's it actually. So am I forgetting any?
I mean, that's pretty much the live action movie Jokers.
No. So I only mentioned 3 live action Jokers. Oh, so there is a 5th one, but I didn't see the Adam West Joker ones.
No, but I was saying, where would you put Joaquin though?
Okay, well I'm gonna tell you. So I'm gonna rate them right now. Ledger is still number 1. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm sorry. Joaquin did a great job, but like you can't compare the two. All right, Ledger will always be my favorite without a question. Yep. So Ledger, and I think if I'm being honest, I put Joaquin in a solid second, and I'm gonna get shit on for this, but Leto was my 3rd favorite. I loved Leto. I did. I was very impressed with his performance, and I was disappointed that they took out a lot of scenes with him. I loved that guy, and I love Jack Nicholson, but I think I'd put Hamill over Nicholson, and then that just leaves me with Nicholson. So
Hamill.
what?
Hamill.
No, I chose Hamill over Nicholson.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, no, like I love Nicholson in The Departed. I've loved him in Anger Management. I wasn't too impressed with his Joker, but he wasn't bad. Just I liked a lot of the other performances better, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other one left would be Cesar Romero, but that's
I haven't seen enough. All
That's
I
from
saw was a photo of them trying to get rid of his little mustache.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because
He couldn't just shave the damn thing.
he didn't want it shaved off, so they had to just put the makeup around it.
They did.
What about
They
you, Jay?
worked with it.
I'm gonna say something crazy. Joaquin Phoenix, #1. Then
Really?
Heath Ledger, yeah.
Damn.
And then Jared Leto can go fuck himself.
What about the others? Like, have you?
I haven't seen enough Nicholson or Hamill to. You know what's funny too? Jared Leto was upset that they even made this movie.
Yeah, they're
He's-
supposed about that.
Stop
Hold
being a
on.
bitch,
I don't know
Jared
how
Leto.
true that is. People make a lot of fake news these days.
Fake news.
Yeah, but
Like,
it
did
was-
he actually
news.
say that in an interview, or did they
Yeah.
twist his words in in quoting him in a video or something like that?
hard to
Not
say,
a video, in a newspaper article.
hard to say, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was upset, given like how he was his character was handled in the Suicide Squad and everything, and how he's not in the Birds of Prey movie, since that one involves Harley Quinn, and who knows what else they're gonna be doing with the future of the shared DC universe, which is why I'm glad that for Joaquin's Joker, it's a standalone, a separate kind of story. It has to be connected with anything else.
You see, the thing about Leto is that I really respect that guy. I know you really hate him, Jeremy, but I really respected him. And, like, what they did in Suicide Squad was very fucked up. Supposedly they shot a lot of scenes with Leto, and they didn't, and they cut like a majority of them out, which is very fucked up because Leto put in so much work and everything, and he never even broke character as the Joker. He worked very hard to play the Joker, and from what I saw, I was very impressed with him. I was like, he's no Heath Ledger, but I was impressed with him. But like, what they did was wrong, basically. Like when I saw the final cut, he was in a normal amount. It was kind of like more of an introduction to the Joker.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, they should never have shot all that extra stuff to begin with. All right. Well, like honestly, I had nothing against his Joker. He did a solid job, and I would love to see more of him. If I'm being honest, not my favorite, but I appreciated him.
Apparently, I'm looking it up now. Jared Leto tried to get the film stopped.
Yeah, I saw that.
How true is that, though?
I just looked at like 3 or 4 sources that said he did that. He was really upset behind the scenes that they were making this movie, basically.
He does realize though that that this is a Joker film that is nothing like they're not replacing him. This is a film that has nothing to do with the DC universe.
I know, but the fact that his character was already polarizing in Suicide Squad, to say the least, and now they're making this.
What do you mean by polarizing? I'm sorry.
Like, some people liked it, some people really hated it.
Yeah, he got a lot of mixed reviews.
So, the fact that they're making this critically acclaimed movie now without him, I think, because they're redefining the Joker, basically, and he's left out of it, and I think that pisses him off. I think he did want to be the one that carried the torch after Heath Ledger, so...
Here's what I'm curious about. So they tried to stop him. Did they say how they tried to stop him? No. He tried to stop them.
It says that, hold on.
This is going to be funny.
It says, according to sources familiar with Leto's behavior, when the Oscar-winning actor... What did he win an Oscar for?
I I don't
Dallas
know. Maybe,
Buyers Club?
no, McConaughey won that.
Yeah, but maybe one supporting.
He might have, or he won playing Prefontaine in the movie Prefontaine. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, he not only complained bitterly to his agents at CAA, who also represent Todd Phillips, the director, but he asked his music manager, Irving Azoff, to call the leader of Warner's parent company. The idea was to get Warner's to kill the Todd Phillips film.
That's crazy.
It's not only crazy, it's also stupid. I mean, what he needs to realize is that they're not replacing him. All right, this is that we know of. All right, Joaquin Phoenix is not replacing him. This is just like a completely separate story that has nothing to do with the DC universe.
Yeah, but I mean, they're basically saying, like, fuck off, dude. Like, people didn't like your Joker enough for us to, like, really expand it. And he's not going to be in...
I heard differently.
What's the next movie with Harley Quinn?
That's
Birds of Prey.
He's not going to be in that. So already they're kind of, like, moving away from him really taking his foothold as the new Joker, basically.
Yeah, and they're still keeping Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Right. Which she was, even people that hated Suicide Squad were like, they're like cool with her still playing the character. So.
Oh yeah, even the creator.
She did a great job.
Yeah, even the creator of the character Harley Quinn loved Margot Robbie's performance.
Who's the creator of Margot Robbie? Same creator of the Joker or Batman and everyone?
Harley Quinn. I meant the creator of Harley Quinn character.
Wait. So each individual character in the Batman universe has its own individual creator.
More or less.
Mm.
I mean, a bunch of them were made by the same creator back in the early days when it started, but Harley Quinn came aboard like in the late 90s in the Batman animated series, never before in the comics. But due to her character's popularity in the show, people thought, okay, let's make her mainstream, add her into the comics then. So I say that if you manage to get the creator of that character portraying as a thumbs up, then you're doing something right.
Yeah. No, I was impressed by, honestly, I was impressed by everyone's performance.
I guess if we want to conclude with how we would rate Joker, what would we give it?
Yeah, I just want to get
You mean like no stars, 3 stars, 5 stars?
Whatever rating system you want to use.
Is that how you wanted to do that?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I just wanted to get touch past how I would rate Joaquin. I'd say, like, as far as what I see of Joker actors, he's definitely up there. Although I would put Heath Ledger above him a little bit, just because I like...
Oh yeah, that's right. You didn't rate them yet. All right, we're listening.
Yeah, like
we rated them. You didn't.
Yeah. I definitely put... If I had to rank the Jokers, well, not really rank. I always have a select 7, because I've seen a lot of different Joker actors.
Well, just select the 4 that we know of, I guess.
Well, that's what I usually go by. I usually go with, as I call my segment, select 7.
Okay.
So as far as my choice of Joker is definitely Joaquin Phoenix, along with Heath Ledger, Nicholson, Mark Hamill. Let's see who else was there. A few.
Oh, it was Mark Hamill 3rd.
No, this is not a ranking. This just means selecting them. So I'm trying to think. Let's see. Joaquin, Ledger, Hamill, Nicholson. Let's see. There's also another great actor from the show Gotham, Karen Monahan,
Oh yeah, he's doing a great job.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Joker, sort of, but it's more like kind of like Joaquin's take. It's more of an influence in the mythology of the Joker. Let's see who else. Let's see. There was another actor that has done some voice work, but in Call of Duty games. But he does a really good job of doing a little mixture of Ledger, Nicholson, and Hamill to make his own kind of voice. Just the name. Oh yeah, Anthony McGruber. He's a really good actor, especially for doing like his own like Harrison Ford impression. Like he even got a job portraying like a younger version of Harrison Ford's character in the movie.
Yeah.
Like I would have.
That's awesome, man.
Like I would have him to have been Solo in the movie instead of whatever they got. But
Chewie, we're home.
so yeah,
Best scene in The Force Awakens, just saying.
so yeah, that'd be my list. So how would you guys rank the Joker film? I guess if you want to go by like a star system.
I mean, I think it was a 5-star movie out of 5.
I would say 5 as well.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. One of the best movies of 2019, and I definitely think, in a just world, Joaquin Phoenix would be up for an Oscar, and Todd Phillips would be as well.
I'd be surprised if he didn't get nominated at least for an Oscar.
It's gonna be a people's movement to get him there, though, because the powers that be in Hollywood were not all fans of this movie.
They gave Ledger an Oscar. I don't know why they wouldn't give Joaquin an Oscar.
Yeah.
Is he still alive?
Yeah. Yeah, he's still alive. Yeah, so far his insanity remains intact from filming the movie, so I say he'll be fine. But yeah, for me too, I place Joker film at number 5. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So thank you guys for being guests on this show.
Of course.
Pleasure,
man.
yeah.
And see you guys later on another episode of Star Labs Confidential.